Okay, we begin with a live look at the Portland Ice Building. So that is what's going on there right now on Friday evening. Our crew on the ground tells us there are about 10 to 20 protesters and that the crowd is growing. Our crew says the vibe is getting more tense, and our team did witness one protester being taken inside the ice building just before 6 this evening. Now, today, the U.S. Army's Northern Command released limited information about the National Guard deployment. They've wrote what we've been reporting now for days, that the Guard will be supporting the protection of federal personnel and property in the greater Portland area. But whether or not that deployment actually happens hinges on a lawsuit filed by state and city leaders, a lawsuit that had its first hearing in federal court this morning. Okay, let's bring in Kyle Aboshi. He's live outside the federal courthouse downtown where that hearing was held. Kyle, you were in court today. The most important question here, any ruling so far?
We're still waiting at this hour. Late this evening, even about 5 o'clock, both the governor and attorney general put out a statement saying, please be patient while we wait for a decision on this temporary restraining order. We haven't heard anything from the court. Judge Karen Immerget suggested that a ruling would come either tonight or tomorrow morning, but in light of the fact we haven't had a ruling this evening and as hours continue to pass, it seems more and more likely that that ruling would come tomorrow. When the ruling does come, they're not going to bring everybody back into court. Instead, it's simply posted on the court's website for everyone to read.
Okay, so Kyle, since no cameras are allowed in federal court, walk us through how the hearing unfolded.
And it really is unfortunate. Federal court does not allow cameras in the courtroom because it was a fascinating 2-hour hearing today. The courtroom was absolutely packed. And unlike most hearings where the judge allows each side to present their case formally, right out of the gate, the judge peppered both sides with questions asking about their position on this temporary restraining order. The state arguing that it is unlawful and unnecessary for the deployment of troops in Portland. The federal government countering that no, the president does have the authority to deploy the National Guard, and it is necessary to protect the ICE office. So really an interesting debate. Ultimately, they were able to make about 30-minute presentations each with a 10-minute rebuttal from the state, but fascinating to hear from both sides and really interesting to hear from the judge probe them on this important issue.
And for people who don't deal with court hearings like this as often as you do, what should Portlanders know about next steps depending on which way the judge rules?
So first of all, the ruling, as I mentioned, it'll be posted on the court website. So that's where the announcement will come. From there, if it's granted, that basically puts the brakes on the deployment of the National Guard. If it's denied, then the deployment continues. Now, when they'll be on the ground in Portland, we don't know and have not been given that information. Keep in mind, this was an application for a temporary restraining order. The underlying lawsuit continues, and that litigation will likely go on for months, possibly even years, challenging the deployment. So this was kind of an emergency measure to say, hold on, folks, we need to pause. And that's what we're waiting for the ruling on at this moment.
Okay, Kyle Aboshi live at the federal courthouse for us tonight. Kyle, thank you.